Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Your word is a lamp for my feet and a light on my path. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark.
Glory to you, Lord.
Jesus told this parable to the disciples. Is a lamp brought in to be put under the bushel basket or under the bed, and not on the lampstand? For there is nothing hidden except to be disclosed, nor is anything secret except to come to light. Let anyone with ears to hear listen. And he said to them, pay attention to what you hear. The measure you give will be the measure you get, and still more will be given to you. For those who have, more will be given, and from those who have nothing, even what they have will be taken away. The Gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. We are continuing our reflections on the Gospel of St. Mark. And in Mark chapter 4, verse 21, Jesus asked a question, and he says, is the lamp brought in to be put under the bed? He says, no one does that. So in Bible study, we say, what is this lamp that Jesus was talking about? Jesus is talking about light. Jesus is talking about himself, that he is the light of the world. When we talk about the lamp, we're talking about, even in our lives, in our homes, we all have lamps. We have switches. We switch on the lamp to give light to the world, to our house, to our homes. Immediately we get in, we switch on the light. Jesus is like that. Before Jesus came, the world was in darkness. And how do we know that the world was in darkness? Before Jesus came, the world practiced different kinds of religions. There was Judaism, there was Zoroastrianism, there was Hinduism. All these religions, they were basically based on two things. The first is ancestral worship. Ancestral worship. If you took Judaism, for instance, they were saying this was the way Abraham did it, so we do it that way. That was the way Jacob did it. That was the way Isaac did it, and so we do it that way. That was the way David did it, we do it that way. That was the way Solomon did it, and they did it that way. There were no deep questioning. When Jesus was born, the wise men who were practicing Zoroastrianism left that practice behind and they came searching for Jesus. So the coming of Jesus brought light into the darkness that the world was living in. Worship was no longer based on ancestral worship, and it was no longer based on nature. Like I said, the religions that were practiced before Jesus came included Roman gods, Greek gods, and they were all based on mythologies and on nature. The Roman religions were basically the worship of the sun, the worship of nature. And the Greek religions were basically based on mythologies, different kinds of orgies, like Bacchus. People will talk about drink and be merry, be happy. People were worshiping God based on reading poetic verses, oration to the gods, to make the gods happy. The more poetic you can be in a philosophical way, they believe that that is how God will bless you. They were dealing more, worshiping God philosophically. But then Jesus comes, and Jesus says, I am the light. For the first time in the worship of God, we see a direct connection between heaven and earth. Because the definition of religion is the search for God. That if you check the dictionary and say, what's the definition of religion? It will say, the searching. Religion means human beings are searching for God. But when Jesus came, he annulled that definition of religion, because we were no longer searching. Say, for instance, if you took Zoroastrianism, they gaze to the star and they start searching. What does the star say? Where is the angle of the star? What does it say? And they search for it and search for it. But with the coming of Jesus, the light came. God himself became present to us. And so Jesus Christ says, if the light has come in, he says you don't have to put that light under the bed. You have to let that light shine. In other words, if you have accepted Jesus, let the light of Jesus shine in you and through you. So Jesus Christ says, there is nothing hidden that will not be disclosed. Jesus is saying, at the time when Jesus came, people were so afraid because they were practicing Judaism and they were also following Jesus. And so people were like, oh, I don't want to be punished. The Pharisees were going to punish people who were considered dissenting from Judaism and following Jesus. And so people will hide. And some people, it's like Nicodemus. If you read John chapter 3, Nicodemus accepted Jesus, but he was coming to Jesus by night. He didn't want people to know that he has accepted Jesus. And he hid all that until Good Friday, when Jesus died. Himself and Joseph of Arimathea were the ones that went to bury Jesus. But he was a member of the Sanhedrin. And so Jesus Christ says, there is nothing hidden that will not be disclosed. So, if you have accepted Jesus, let the light shine. Don't hide it. It's still going to come out. Like we said, it came out for Joseph of Arimathea. It came out for Nicodemus, even though they were secretly coming to Jesus at night, but it was still revealed in public. So, my dear people, Jesus is the light of the world. Jesus has come to brighten the world, and we thank God for living in the light. We are no longer living in darkness, and that is the joy of being a Christian.